Step 1. Apply the packing tape. You can get big sheets of packing tape on Amazon, someone told me, that would go over an entire picture, but for now I just have strips of packing tape I use, so I put down a few layers. This will sometimes create a stripe in the middle of the picture, but I actually think that looks really cool. I'll show you what I'm talking about later. But for now, I just cover the entire image that I want in packing tape, and I try to line up the lines fairly well. Once it's covered, I use a spoon to press the tape really hard. I'm kind of doing a scraping motion, pushing the tape into it, getting all of the air bubbles out and really connecting it as much as possible. If you look closely at your image as you do this, you can see it gets a little darker where the spoon has been scraping onto it, so you can tell it's really stuck on there great. And then I just cut out the entire image, cutting out any paper that's not covered by tape so that I can submerge this in water. Once it's ready, you just put it in, I keep a Tupperware with water, and let it soak. Here, depending on your quality of paper, you might want to let it soak for quite a while. I have edited out bits of this when I was checking to see if the paper was ready. And most paper will come off sort of painstakingly. You have to just scrape at it, scrape at the back, and you'll see the paper start to come off. It's almost like peeling a sunburn. It's really satisfying and fun, but it is a bit time consuming. And you can do this to different degrees. I also like to save sometimes snips of the back if I get a big piece off. Sometimes those will be cool to add to other collages, so I just set that aside. And here you can see the transparency already a little bit. You can see my finger through the image. And I also want to note that my tape did come apart. That's fine. It'll just come together when I glue it on. And sometimes I like to scrape extra paper off and make it almost completely transparent, blocking out the faces here. That is a really cool effect. So sometimes I scrape all the paper off. None of the ink stays either, and then whatever the background is really gets to shine through. I think I'm going to use text for this one, and that way you'll get to read words through their faces. I actually go back later and scrape off more from this picture because I really wanted more of the background to shine through. All right, once it's all ready, we can start drying it off. And once it's dry, I went in and I cut out all the extraneous material that I didn't want. I just cut right around all of the men's heads. And then you'll see I actually cut this top row of men out here. I'm going to use them somewhere else. I just wanted to keep it a little simpler. So here I'm just assembling my background, thinking about all the layers I wanted. I worked mostly with text behind the men so that would shine through, and I added in these ladies' heads. I really liked the tone of this paper. It's a little greenish, a little vintage looking. These are all from Life magazines. And once I start gluing on these gentlemen, you'll see I actually don't leave a line, even though there are two separate parts because I had those strips of tape, and in the water they just came out. So you'll see first I'm gluing the top half on, and then I'm just lining up the bottom half. And I could have left a line there that might have looked cool, but I actually just glued it right next to it so the line is imperceptible, which is always an option. And now we get to see the final product.